Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga Texas construction update video. As we begin the second quarter of 2024, it's a good opportunity to take a look back almost 4 years ago in this field that you see here in this video clip of where Giga Texas began. At that time, Tesla had a vision for this area. The eastern Austin area had a lot of hope for what Giga Texas would bring, and there were a lot of promises that Tesla made to the local community. Unfortunately, we have an update on this community impact by Rohan Patel. He is Tesla's policy and business development lead, and he gave a pretty quick update on many of the community impacts that Giga Texas has had, plus some additional information about the development site that I think you'll find interesting. Now, there's a lot we're going to cover over some of the highlights, but feel free to stop the video and take a look at more of the details. But as Rohan says, back in 2020, when they found the site here in Travis County, it was an old mining site, 30 feet deep pits, swamps, sludge, abandoned buildings, and waste, but they had a vision and the idea of this location near downtown Austin, the Colorado River, the proximity to the airport and the highways, and also great educational institutions. And they also want to point out that it has taken a lot of work by thousands of employees and contractors and subcontractors to make this vision happen. And I'd also like to say thank you to Tesla for allowing myself and other drone pilots to be able to bring you the construction of Giga Texas for these nearly 4 years. We all see what has been going on. Now, for the overall Giga Texas impact, it is now one of the largest manufacturing facilities in the world at 11 million square feet and growing. There's over 22,777 Tesla team members employed in the greater Austin area. And of course, Giga Texas is the home to the Model Y, the Cybertruck, 4680 battery cells, Tesla cathode, and a number of other projects, including the Megapack, which both serves Giga Texas and the local area. And Tesla has made more than $4.3 billion in investment within Travis County as of the end of 2023. The on-site Megapack system is supporting the Texas grid and also resilience for Giga Texas. They've restored an area along River Road on the far southwest side of the site as that ecological uplift pilot program, and we have covered that on several previous videos, so you can take a look at that for more information. Giga Texas is partially installed solar roof. It had 900 megawatt hours of energy in 2023, and it's going to be more than doubling in size when all of the solar panels are installed. And this helps Giga Texas offset its energy usage. They've also installed a massive EV charging network here at Giga Texas, 108 superchargers, 251 of the home chargers, and a lot more on the way. Tesla has put a lot of work into making Giga Texas a sustainable factory, including a lot of improvements to reduce water consumption. They have reclaimed water for irrigation and also as much as 320 million gallons of recycled water. They have a rainwater harvesting system to store 500,000 gallons of rainwater, and I showed that entire installation and construction. It's on the underside of Giga Texas, just under the driveline portion of the factory. And again, I've had several videos in the past, probably around 2021, where I showed that installation. And they've donated an easement to the city of Austin to repair an exposed section of their reclaimed water main, and Tesla waived compensation for that effort. Tesla has fostered an extensive community involvement and participation program, more than 25 times above the community investment commitment to the county for 2023. And they've supported local infrastructure projects and educational programs to help with Tesla's mission to accelerate sustainable energy and transportation. They continue to invest in Del Valley Independent School District students, and in 2023, they funded 3 district roles and investment in Del Valle High School's P-Tech program with a focus on robotics and cybersecurity. And finally, Rohan completed his update by saying that Tesla is sincerely grateful to the community, the government, and educational partners for their support. I would say that this update, along with several other updates that Tesla has made over the years, shows that that vision, the hope, and the promises that Tesla made to the community are definitely being held true. And it's not completed yet. There is still a lot of work to come. But so far, Giga Texas has been a positive impact to the greater Austin and the East Austin communities. I hope that you found that review and the community impact update helpful. So let's get into the drone, let's fly around and see what Giga Texas looks like today.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are interested in Tesla products, you can help yourself and support me by using my referral code. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you.
My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga Texas. After many days of clouds, mist, and rain, it's great to have a beautiful day here to fly at Giga Texas. So we're going to start on the east side at the Robotic Avenue extension. All of these steel corrugated pipes are being lined up, waiting for their chance to be installed. This will be an extension to the south of the underground water management system that will run through this location, and then they will put the road on top of that. We can see that the multi-level parking garage is almost completed. We just have about 3 floor more of double T panels and some beams. And here's a good close-in view of that work. And once this is completed, the building will be at its full size, but they still have a lot of work to do with concrete on all of the floors, the ground slab, and as you can see on the roof section where they have the steel mesh for that kind of that rebar material, and that will be laid down, and then more of the concrete on top. As I pan to the left, you can get a good view here of the intersection, some more of the steel corrugated pipes, and that extension of River Road to the south. And this is where River Road and Robotic Avenue will come together and pass between those two ponds. But a good view here of all of the activity in this eastern part of the multi-level parking garage construction site, and of course the garage itself and how it looks, with a beautiful shot of downtown Austin in the background as well. As I fly along the south side, I'll get closer to the main structure here. You can see the red and white pump truck. They are pumping concrete into the 6th floor, and they will be filling out that entire section with concrete, very similar to what we see on the roof here next to the drive ramps, and that will complete that section of that building, and then they'll do that on all of the floors. As we fly over the sedimentation basin on the left, we see some more trench work underway, and in the testing and calibration lot, we see more of the Model Ys, more of the Cybertrucks. We do see about 9 of the Model Ys with covers. I'm not sure what that is for, but it is an interesting development at the bottom left of the screen. Of course, all of the Cybertrucks lined up here waiting for their final processing before they can move over to the outbound lot on the west side and that end-of-line facility there as well. As we fly to the east, I'll give you a good view of the East Warehouse on Wheels. All of the trailers here contain materials that are necessary for production. They wait here until the yard trucks take them over to the factory, they unload, and then other trucks pick them up and take them to suppliers around the area. Another good view of all of the far east side of the site today. A lot of the materials, equipment, some of those trailers for the contractors, and just a good view of this entire side. So while we're this far off to the east, I'm going to fly alongside the cathode plant complex of structures and give you a good view from this vantage point of how it looks today. turned towards the north along this northeast corner where a lot of the earthwork has been done, but looks like it's stopped for a while. We see the rental equipment lot on the upper right and that large field in the upper center of the screen with some of those materials waiting for installation at some point in the future. As I continue to turn around on top of this northeast corner section, you can get a good sense of the amount of dirt and materials that are being stored here on this part and how few materials are remaining. We do have those bridge cranes and some of those stainless steel items on the right of the screen, a few more of the pieces of equipment and workshops, but otherwise most of this has been cleared out. Now this section around the testing of the battery cells is pretty busy as well, and I noticed that the lighting was great, so I'm going to bring the drone down in and give you a view inside this third floor of the battery cathode plant. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can get a good view of what is going on, but it looks like a lot of tables, a few other pieces of equipment, no real chairs, so not sure what this is being used for at the moment, but with the lighting it gives you a good view inside a section that we don't normally see. As I turn back looking towards the south along the east side, you can fly next to the wade pit on the left and also that water detention pond on the left, and of course the rounded top crash test facility and some of the dirt in the middle here that is continuing being prepared and removed with equipment for asphalt. We see that large rotisserie on the north end of the crash test facility, kind of that brown rack item, and that's used to pick up and turn over vehicles. On the south end, the great material over that underground tank or bath and that water tank for the water for that bath next to it, but as I pull away, another good view here of this entire east side from this perspective and the work that's going on near that crash test facility. As I continue to fly along the south end of the battery cathode plant on the right and the die shop on the left, this is a good view of that asphalt that has been recently placed, some new excavation just to the south of the asphalt, that triangular section next to that receiving door and ramp waiting for concrete, and of course the main doors on the southeast corner. As we fly through the alleyway between the two structures and many of the tanks and vaporizers, I wanted to give you a good view of what's going on at the chiller plant. Of course, those 4 large stainless steel tanks were recently completed as far as the installation, and most of the manifolds are now installed, but there is a temporary platform in between. And of course, we do see more work that has been done here on the roof section of the chiller plant with the pipes, heat exchangers, pumps, and other equipment. 3 of the 4 Evapco fan units are working today at this moment, and we're still waiting for this north end with those openings to find out if some of the Evapco units that we've seen on the west side may be headed here soon. And work around the base of that temporary platform and rubbish chute continues. As I fly to the north towards the north end of the battery cathode plant, we see some trenching work on the west side of the plant itself, and we see more materials and cleanup around the lift station here at the bottom center of the screen, and more earthwork on the right hand side of the screen preparing for more asphalt, and you can see that trenching on the left of the screen as well. I'll bring the drone down a little lower and fly along this west side towards the west area of the die shop. We see that exterior furnace on the left on the north end of the factory, and this newly asphalt paved section along this side of the factory, and again that clear spot on the left waiting for concrete around that corner of the building. Good look at the employee overflow lot and the east parking lot and how busy it is here on this Wednesday. And as we continue to fly to the north over these temporary trailers that house offices and security for Tesla, I want to show you just a few things at the switch yard that is going on today. The old temporary electrical switch yard on the left is pretty much completely gone and dismantled, but we still haven't seen the final reclamation work. As we fly up over the permanent electrical switch yard, I did notice this section here with the outlined work fences. As I zoom in, you can see that they are working on some of these large pipe sections underneath the power lines. This may be part of that easement that we talked about at the beginning of the video that was given back to the local community, and Tesla waived any compensation for this, and this allows them to repair this section along this area of the site and serve the greater area. As we fly up over the power lines, is a good view of the Megapack site and how it looks today. It is fully operational, and as we talked at the intro, it serves both the local community and as a resource to back up Giga Texas. There does appear to be some sort of maintenance going on here today amongst these Megapacks, and you can see the two vehicles next to those transformers on the bottom of the screen. So as we continue to fly towards the south along this area where we see some materials and some of the dirt, various kinds being stockpiled here, we'll cross over Tesla Road and take a look at the east side of the casting machine structure. Here we see more work on that expanded berm to do some erosion control, and a lot of castings along the northeast and east side of the casting machine structure as well. At the bottom of the screen we see more of the saw cutting and removal of concrete. I'll give you a closer look at that here shortly. And then this section has had almost all of the screw type piers installed, and the tops are being cut off level with the ground, and this is how it looks today. As I turn the drone around here, good look at a couple of those receiving doors, a large section of concrete that has been removed, and of course more of the work at the bottom of the screen with that saw cutting, and you can see that kind of hex pattern, and then a painted section on this part of the apron where more of that will be cut out as well. As we wrap around the northeast side of the factory, I'll continue over this berm that's getting that erosion control, and more of the castings on the left. We can see the trailers that are just on the north end of the paint shop, and again more castings here as well. And next to this smaller platform we see some of the paint items that are delivered periodically and then also used for recycling of paint that's not used. The 4680 cell production portion of the factory continues its construction. There's about 1.5 production lines right now making 4680s. Still work to be done to get the existing 4 fully operational. And what I understand is there is a big push to try to increase the production rate over the next couple of months into the middle part of the second quarter. And hopefully they will be able to make that happen, and we can see production of 46s keeping ahead of the rapidly increasing General Assembly production of the Cybertrucks. As we continue to fly along this side of the building, I did want to show you the progress with this concrete section that has been being removed. Some of the sections are still on the ground waiting for a pickup, and of course the stairs, the ramp that used to be here, all removed, that wall panel above that opening, and just still waiting to figure out what this will be and why they are doing all of this work here to reconfigure this part of the apron around the west side of the factory. So I'm going to bring the drone up and reposition so that we can go across the highway and take a look at the work that is going on at the end of line facility and also the outbound lot. It's a great view of this north material staging and those 2 white tents with a lot of the material around. This large section, which is getting some dirt piled in it, waiting for further development, just across this long, skinny water detention pond, and of course the end-of-line facility as well. See the activity on the north side as the vehicles enter into the end-of-line facility for processing, and all of the Cybertrucks that are being stored temporarily here on the east side of the facility, waiting for their opportunity to go through the processing. As we continue to fly to the south along this side of the factory, we'll be approaching the superchargers where they are very busy today. Certainly more of the Cybertrucks around and in the superchargers than I saw on my previous video. On the left, you see more of that dirt section that is being prepared for eventually having asphalt and lighting system to extend this point of the end-of-line facility further to the south. But good view here of all of the superchargers and all of the vehicles being stored on that east side. More of the Cybertrucks on the outbound lot on the left and growing number of Model Ys. I also noticed a long line of Cybertrucks at the west side of this facility next to the track and next to the wall of the end-of-line facility. One of the Cybertrucks is currently doing testing, driving to the south towards the drone right now. And this is part of that final testing before the vehicles are ready for shipping to customers. This is a good view of the north section of what will eventually be the expansion of the outbound lot. Also, most likely parking for the employees that work at the end-of-line facility as well. Some more trench work and the conduit being installed here on the bottom of the screen. The outbound lot itself is much more busy than it was on Monday as production has ramped back up after the end of the first quarter and Monday's down day. You get a good sense of the number of Model Ys that are waiting for transportation, and intermixed within some of them are also more of the Cybertruck. So another good sign that production is coming right back up to where it needs to be, and hopefully it will continue to expand going into the second quarter. As I continue to maneuver the drone around the outbound lot west side, good view of the west warehouse on wheels that is also full of a lot of trailers, more of the earthwork on the right-hand side of the screen, and a look back along the entire outbound lot towards the main factory and over the end-of-line facility. The dirt that you see on the right is again where they're preparing to extend all of the asphalt here to the south, and this will give a much larger part of the outbound lot and help with more of the vehicles, and also prepare for that next gen vehicle when it comes online, so they have plenty of space for all of the vehicles waiting for transportation. Here's another view of the south supercharger lot, all of the Cybertrucks that are here and along the east side of the building as well. And I've seen a lot of the Cybertrucks driving down that road way between the building and all the Cybertrucks towards the supercharger station as well. So that's good to see. Now, I've had people ask, are these more Cybertrucks than I saw in my previous video? And by far, yes. So production is definitely going along well. As we fly over the conduits and some of the work here next to the Boring Company site, I wanted to give you a good view of some of the activity that is going on. We'll see that the belt cassette has been busy. Also the spoils section with all of the dirt coming out of the tunneling. And also this is a good view of the equipment waiting to follow the tunnel in through the concrete segments that you see, and it looks like there's about 5 or 6 segments of the tunnel now completed. That concrete segment that is just at the aft end of the Proof Rock 3, and the Proof Rock 3 is about 1/3 of the way into the dirt now, about maybe 5 or 6 meters, and you can actually see that it is tunneling because there's motion on the tip of the tunnel boring machine. Also, as I pull back, I want to show you the cleared location of the section where the tunnel is going to go. This is a ground shot of the same area and kind of the activity. I was doing a handheld on this with a zoom in, so I apologize for the video being a little bit jumpy, but this gives you a good ground level view of what this activity looks like and what the equipment is being used right now. You see that kind of orange excavator, that's to take the spoils out of that containment area. As I zoom in, this is a good view of the Proof Rock 3 and the concrete segments. And even though it's hard to tell here, it is actually in the process of drilling at the time of this video. And as I pull back, more of that clearing that leads up to the highway. And now we'll get back into the drone and we'll take a look at the activity that is continuing as I get closer back in towards the tunnel segment. If you look at the ground that's just in front of the boring Proof Rock 3, you might see some of the drill head spinning in the dirt. And just a little bit going on at the bottom right of the screen. And that shows that the Proof Rock 3 is actually in motion right now. Here's a good view of the control trailers and some of the other offices, more of the tunnel sections on that train getting ready to be installed. And again, more work around the spoils bin. You can get a good sense of the amount of dirt that has been in there, and it continues to be emptied out and transported away. So as I pull away, this gives you a good overall view of the tunnel boring operation, the end of line, the outbound lot, and the warehouse on wheels on the left-hand side of the screen, and all of the tunnel segments that are being lined up on the right-hand side of the screen. Now, in the video intro, we did talk about some of the community impact for Giga Texas. One of those is on the left-hand side of the screen. That's that uplift that we talked about that restored a lot of this land next to the Colorado River and by River Road. So this is a good view of how this looks now after Tesla has done the investment and the reclamation work for this area and restoring the greenbelt next to the Colorado River. And I'll continue to pull the drone back. You will notice there's a lot of birds. These are starlings. It's nesting season. They make nests underneath the north and south bridges, and they see the drone as a little bit of a threat, so that's why we'll see so many of the birds right now. So as we cross over the highway and fly along the Colorado River, this is a good view of the south end of Giga Texas, that extension. The work that's going on for earthwork just to the south of River Road, and of course the location of that multi-level parking garage on the right-hand side of the screen. While I was on this side of the site, I thought I would fly along the River Road expansion that's going between the two green belts and also the ponds. This gives you a good view of the earthwork that is underway right now and how much of that smaller pond on the left is remaining that will probably be filled in. And then, of course, the intersection here where Robotic Avenue will meet River Road. And as I continue to fly back, this gives you a really good view of all of the earthwork that is going on to extend the road in the bottom left of the screen. As we approach the south end of the factory, it's a great view of the steel around the tanks, the steel on the ground waiting for installation, and this long pit that is getting earthwork, and also looks like there are rebar cages next to that pit. You can see some workers for the scale. And it looks like those, along with the screw-type piers, may be going into that part of the facility, and we'll continue to watch to see what they do. Here's a good view in of that south extension and how it looks today. And that large section in between the existing building and the steel section, there's a lot of trenching and other preparation work going on, and we'll see that here closely shortly. But I also wanted to give you this view of the structure around the tanks. And as we fly over the power lines, we'll see another interesting development that is going on, and that is here on the ground floor. I'll position the drone, I'll zoom in, and you'll see the underground concrete structure that is being made. Also the two arrows, you can see where an elevator shaft will go from the bottom up through into the second floor. And this is repeated on all three of these underground kind of tunnel segments. So you can see the worker standing on top of the tunnel there. They've had rebar and concrete put that way, and it matches up with these extended height footings for the columns. Is another one of those under development here. And again, you can see that elevator shaft and the opening on the second floor. And one more of them is in the upper left-hand side of the screen. This is a good view of the trench work that is going on here on this south end, some of the black pipes that'll be put into those locations, and a trench box in the bottom right that is allowing that installation. Also a good view of this part of the factory, and as we fly up over this roof section, we can see how much of the decking material has been installed on the south side. I'll reposition the drone over the cyber pond down to the southeast side, give you a view of how this looks today. And again, that large trench with those rebar squares on the upper of the screen. We see a Cybertruck coming through the middle of the screen. That is the exit point and route from the end of the factory out through here over to the west end of line facility, and that is why they have the spray off section on the north end of the end of line, because of all the mud that they pick up going through this route. As we fly along the south end and see all the glass that has been installed, we see workers preparing for more of the glass frames and mounts. And I'll give you a good zoom in here. This is a good view of that kind of that underground tunnel. You see the arrow showing where the perimeter grade beam is cut, and it looks like that's going to be an opening into that tunnel, and then on the far end is that elevator shaft that we talked about. More of the work being done here along the edge of the building, preparing for windows and the mounts. Those are those black items that you see on the upper and on top of the perimeter grade beam, and of course the columns will be painted black as well. And here's another look at more of that work that's going on to prepare for the window installation. And speaking of which, all of the windows are being stored here on these trailers and in the crates on the left-hand side of the screen. And also, as I continue to maneuver the drone, you'll see that there are workers at the bottom of the screen on top of a container or a trailer, and it looks like they are preparing to begin more of the window installation. Good view of this southwest corner, that entry into the perimeter grade beam and that trapezoidal open section. Much more of the floor decking has been installed on this part of the factory, and they're rapidly approaching towards that original angled corner. And again, more of the glass on these crates in the bottom left. At the two temporary platforms and where you see that rubbish chute, I did notice these large containers, these wooden crates. Give you a close view of them. I believe these are more of the Tesla automation equipment items that have been brought in and will be put up onto the third floor and installed for more production inside this part of the factory. And of course, here's more of the Cybertrucks waiting in this west staging yard for probably some parts before they are ready to be moved over to the west outbound lot. So as I do a large pull away to the south, gain some altitude, give you a good view of the extension, the main building, all of the solar panels that we did talk about at the beginning of the video. I hope that you enjoyed what we were able to see and what we talked about today. Take care.